end of our questions. We have just a couple minutes left. Does anyone have a follow-up?
I have one.
Go, Hector.
And it was one that surprised me because I used to be a scoutmaster, and you were an Eagle Scout, and we're sort of fluctuating when we were talking about family values. I was surprised that you did not say, this is, and had a strong feeling about it.
Well, I don't want to make it seem as though I'm anti-family values at all. I just, if you could just elaborate for me about what you mean by family values, because I've heard so many definitions, and I don't want to be, answering, providing an answer to one definition while it might have been meant in a different way. So I'd love to take another crack.
For me, it would be, what were your ideas when you were an Eagle Scout?
What
were your ideas about family values? What were your values then? Or have they changed now?
Let me then, start from scratch to offer, my perspective on family and things like that. I was raised in an incredibly warm and loving family. Without them, the reason I run the Mentis Foundation, we work with the dyslexic community, is because I'm very dyslexic. Without their support, without their love, I would have been, another statistic, they would have shoved me through the cracks of the school system the entire way. And I, as was told by my teachers in class, or one teacher said this in class, I'm going to tell you what other teachers said also in class, but probably in a less formal setting because it's rather rude. They said I was going to be flipping burgers for the rest of my life. Now, without the support of my family, there's no way at all that I would have had the opportunity to get the attention that I needed to bridge the gaps that I had in my learning experience, to really get on track and to go on to schools that, I can look back on now and say that I'm very, very proud to go to. Family is very important to me. When I'm a young guy, I'm not married, but eventually I do look to marry someone. I plan that my family will probably be a traditional cookie cutter type family. It's probably the way things will end up. So I really do believe in having close ties and close bonds. My experience as a scout really reinforced that as well. We believe in that's a critical aspect of our lives. And actually, the first thing that they do in your Eagle Scout ceremony, before you're awarded your medal, they give you a pin to give to your mother, and they give you one for your father as well, because without their support, it's really not very likely that too many people would advance that far. So it is an important part of my life, and to that effect, I don't want to seem as though anything else is the case.
Well, wish I'd brought it with me, but John Adams had a quote saying to the effect that this government, our Constitution, is, we have no government sufficient to govern a people without the influence of religion and morality, and that our Constitution is unfit for a people other than a moral and a religious people. What are your feelings?
That's really interesting. I was talking with a gentleman from Trumbull just yesterday, very, very young guy too, younger than myself, and he was talking about some of the work that he was doing in grad school about his theory and that of his classmates who are working on a project with him, is that you can't have a libertarian society without strong, Judeo-Christian, not only principles, but active theology. I thought that was really interesting. I personally, we had a long discussion that went on for quite a while. I am grounded in my beliefs. I'm a Presbyterian. I did my Eagle project for the Presbyterian Church, and I do believe strongly in that. But at the same time, I recognize that not everybody holds the beliefs that I hold. I think that what makes us a great country is that we can have people that disagree, or that have different, they come from different religious backgrounds, and that makes us all better. You know, I have friends from just about every religious background, and also a lot of friends that both are agnostic, and some that are actually one founded the Oxford Atheist Society. I was when I first heard about that, I was so curious to see what they did. I actually sat in the back of the room just to see what the organization was about, and I think that having such an open society is what makes us unique as a country, and I'm proud to be that. I'm proud to be a part of it as personally a Presbyterian, but I also welcome anybody of any other philosophical background or religious perspective.
I think our time is about up. Will, it's very nice of you to come, and
Kim,
yes.
was there another question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have another question?
No, I just see Kim interrupting. I thought she had something. Okay.
No? Okay.
We're bouncing around.
I forgot to check with them. I think our time is up, and we thank you very much. This is
There's a global warming question. What are your feelings on global warming?
oh, okay.
Oh,
There you go.
That's something that I've swayed on in recent years. I've gone back and forth. Ultimately, I first of all, anytime the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, comes out and says that debate's over, we know for certain that it's one thing and you've got to listen to us, that usually, shoots off the alarm bells. It raises some concern for me. I do believe that climate change is taking place. I think that it's due to natural and potentially anthropogenic causes. Ultimately, we don't know. There's a lot of science that we need to do, and it troubles me that some are trying to close off debate before I think it needs to be closed off. That said, and this is big and important, if we get it wrong, the consequences will be dire. Even the most ardent person who opposes those who are suggesting that there's climate change, I think would agree with that. So as a consequence, I think that it's very reasonable for us to want to take out a bit of an insurance plan on that. Say, let's start getting ourselves immediately off fossil fuels, which, by the way, we sent 60% of our cash overseas to a lot of countries that we're not too friendly with to get their energy because of our dependence on fossil fuels. I see the movement in terms of moving towards a more energy-efficient society and one that's less carbon-dependent, and our national security as very closely linked. I also see this as an opportunity for our economy. Let's become the exporter of all the great technology that gets us off those very polluting, hydrocarbons and the carbon-intensive fuels. So yeah, I do think that there's, am I certain that global warming is happening, or climate change rather, is happening? I think we need to take action to ensure that we get our country on track in terms of addressing the issue.
Would you support cap and trade?
No, that's not about enhancing environmental quality. It's not about really energy too much at all. It's about redistributing wealth. It's a very, very bad bill. I appreciate some of the intent behind some of the people who have been suggesting similar programs. But this bill, it's a very bad bill. But, I do want to underscore that on my website, I have it written very clearly that environmental stewardship is something that I believe very strongly in. And I do believe very strongly in it. I think that we need to ensure that, just as we do within scouting, that we leave a site better than we found it. I think global warming is one aspect of that, but certainly not the whole aspect. But we do need to be cognizant of and conscious of some of the concerns that a lot of people have voiced in recent years.
Thank you very much.
I think I got it this time. Thank you so much, Will.
Thank you.